What's up, everybody? Joe White here. A freshly shaven Joe White. Anyway, CM Punk returned last night, and as you guys know, I am a huge CM Punk fan. Love me some CM Punk, but last night was... It was something. I mean, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. We didn't exactly get what was promoted. But we did get CM Punk Raw. Oh my God, that first hour. Well, let me just say this. Nashville, you guys get up. Are you all drunk? Were you all on sleeping pills? I mean, this was probably the most anticipated Monday Night Raw of the year. You know, the old Solomon. Hi, Solomon. I see you, Solomon. Anyway, the Solomon Monster. He said it best. You know, the Raw after WrestleMania this year sucked because Vince McMahon's stench. I was going to say taint, but McMahon's taint has been on a lot of things, and that's what's got him in trouble. But his stench was on WrestleMania. His stench was on the Raw after Mania. So this was kind of like a redemption. What could have been a redemption for the Raw after Mania. And it was highly anticipated as such. There was vibes all over the internet all day. I had people asking me, how can I watch it if I don't have cable? Or how can I watch it if I'm not going to be at home? So, CM Punk coming back is weird for me because I never thought he would come back to WWE. I never thought it was going to happen. The rumors started, and then Uncle Dave Meltzer, squashes it by saying they turned him down. And then Mike Johnson. Kudos to Mike Johnson for PW Insider. There is a reason why I give them my money sometimes. And that's because they don't report something unless they absolutely know that it's true. And this was the case. They stayed away from all these rumors. You had Slappy Sapp. And I call him Slappy Sapp because Sean Ross Sapp has a face that just says, somebody slap me. I mean, I can't stand him. Meltzer Squad addressed these rumors. Everybody was jumping on all the dirt sheets except for Mike Johnson and PW Insider were jumping onto this bandwagon. And, so kudos to them for not even trying to get into the fray on it. Because they hadn't heard anything about it until it happened. So kudos to them. So they had this vibe all night, all day Sunday, all day Monday. Everybody was buzzing. Man, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? Are they going to give him a mic? Is he even going to appear? Then they find out, okay, yes, he's going to appear. What's he going to say? What's he going to say? When are they going to do? Are they going to kick off the show with him? Are they going to save him till the end? And then I heard my boy Danny Rodriguez at World of Geekdom here on YouTube. He doesn't need the hype, but I'm going to give him some hype anyway because he does a good job. He does good work. Me and him were texting last night, and I was like, man, they just showed Becky Lynch. I hope to God Becky Lynch is not going to be the one to interrupt him because she said something about a fight that wasn't finished. We never saw her. They need to start scripting these promos a little bit more. There are certain people in the company who they script heavily, and then there's people like Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins and Orton who they kind of give bullet points to and let them go out there on their own with it. And they need to start watching what these guys say because she alluded to a fight not finished, and then we never saw her again. So there was that. But I went back yesterday before this episode of Raw. I listened to the podcast that he did with Colt Cabana. And it's ironic enough that I believe that podcast dropped this very same weekend after he left. So he leaves in 2013 or 2014, I think it was. Yeah, 2014 in January. And then that November, after the lawsuit and everything got settled, he does the podcast with Colt Cabana. Now, I don't know when exactly that podcast was recorded, but it was released around this time in 2014. So almost 9 years to the day of the Colt Cabana podcast, Punk returns. That's crazy. It's a very ironic. He comes back. The crowd, of course, goes ape crap over him because he's there in Chicago. And he maybe should have went ahead and cut the promo then. Because this crowd they seem like over half of them could care less. Now, here's the thing. Everybody, all the dirt sheets and all the YouTubers this morning are talking about AEW. When he was in AEW, why didn't he? And even I was the one last night going, he brushed AEW under the rug. That's typical WWE. They don't want him to talk about it. And then a couple of things kind of got me thinking. One, he probably had to sign an NDA when he left in order for there not to be a multi-year or multi-month non-compete. Because the rumor was he had no non-compete when he left. I find it very hard to believe that Tony Khan did not put a non-compete clause in his contract. Then again, Tony Khan's a cokehead who does, a lot of stupid crap. But anyway, there was also rumors when he came back to AEW following the all-out, brawl-out, whatchamacallit, the hoo-ha on the Death Star, whatever the case may be, that he had to sign an NDA then, saying that he wouldn't go public and talk about it. And the Young Bucks and Kenny and everybody else had to sign the same NDA, saying they wouldn't go public and talk about it. Tony Khan was asked about Punk showing up, and he goes, I can't talk about it. Not that I won't talk about it. He gave his general cokehead. People just want to see good matches, and I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway. Then he goes on to tout how Taylor Swift is causing them to spend more money on the load-in at All In. But anyway, All Out, whatever the case may be. All In. Yeah. I don't care. Anyway. So there's that. And I even told, Danny Rodriguez last night, who I was texting, messaging him. And I was like, Tony loves to sign his NDAs because a lot of people have glossed over this, but when AEW was first starting, right after it was first announced, or it may have been before it was announced, Tony Khan actually called and had a conversation with Jim Cornette. Now, before Tony Khan would talk to Cornette about anything, he made Cornette sign an NDA. What is an NDA? It's a non-disclosure agreement, for those who don't know, which basically means that you can't talk about what we're going to talk about, or you can't talk about X, or you can't talk about Y as it relates to X business. So he makes Cornette sign an NDA, and then they have this conversation. And it led to Cornette, of course, not getting a job, because I guarantee you the first thing, even though Cornette has not came out really and publicly said it, the first thing Cornette probably told him was, stay away from Kenny Omega and stay away from the Young Bucks. And after that, Tony Khan probably either stopped listening and ended, or he just ended the call right then and there. So Tony Khan loves his NDAs. So we don't know that there's not an NDA at play here that prevents them. Now, of course, Meltzer will probably come out and fake a news story as to a yes or no on it. But anyway, I trust Dave Meltzer about as far as I can throw him nowadays. I really do. But, so we don't know about the NDA thing. Two, WWE is famous for brushing crap under the rug and acting as if they are the only professional wrestling game in town unless they choose to mention you. Now people go, what about Cody? What about Cody? Cody has never came out and said anything. He's never came out and said the letters AEW. He's never came out there and said All Elite Wrestling. He just said other place with my friends. That could mean a million other places that he's talking about. Ring of Honor. He could talk about PWG being there. The Bucks were there with him for all of it. He talks about going and building a business with his friends. Again, he's never mentioned AEW by name. He's never mentioned Tony Khan by name. So there you go. Only the Smart Mark fans or AEW fans who watch both caught on to that. And there's a lot, and which brings me to my next point. Again, they're brushing this under the rug, and we're acting as if he left in 2014 and is coming back in 2023, and the 10-year gap in between, there was nothing there. No AEW. Now, there are a lot of people that do not watch AEW. Look at the ratings. About half as many people watch AEW. I mean, AEW's biggest competition is NXT. Yes, they beat NXT most time, but that's their competition. It's not Raw. It's not SmackDown. It's fucking NXT. Excuse the language. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse, but it's NXT. So these people who sit there, Meltzer going, well, there is a wrestling war going on. There's no war. I've said it since the very beginning of this mess. There is no war. There's a lot of people, okay? A lot of people who I've gotten into wrestling that do not watch AEW because they go, oh man, it's too much blood, it's too much stupidity, it's too much violence, I don't know anybody there, there's no real stars. These are casual fans, okay? These are people who watch Raw, who watch SmackDown, who I've gotten into the business, who do not go on the internet and read out stuff. They may go on YouTube and look up what YouTubers say and do, but they're not what I would call smarks. And they don't watch AEW. So, they don't know who Punk is. Aside from going on YouTube and looking him up, they don't know who Punk is, because maybe they started watching in this between this 10-year gap, and they don't watch AEW. So they don't know what an AEW is. They don't know that Punk was there. They don't know about the Colt Cabana podcast, because that thing's 10 years old or 9 years old. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't know. I mean, all they know is who's this guy showing up in Chicago getting this massive ovation. They don't know who he is. So now the WWE has to kind of catch people up. And they kind of did that with Seth Rollins. He's a hypocrite. He doesn't love this place. You got to kind of give people a backstory here as to what happened. WWE has never publicly came out and said it. Yes, they called him a quitter. And yes, they've said, oh, take the ball and go home. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm over here picking up my first load coming out of the house after the holiday. And it's crazy. Anyway. So they don't know who Punk is. They don't know what he's done. They don't know, because there's a lot of people that do not go back and watch the old crap. It's there. It's on Peacock, but they don't go back and watch it. The legacy content is dead. So they don't know who this guy is. There is a lot of people who don't know who this guy is. 10 years is a long time. And they don't watch AEW for various reasons, as I've stated. So WWE has to, they're going to have to build him back. Yes, Punk has a big-time presence. And a lot of people know him from like Walking Dead and the movies he's done and all this and that. But there's a lot of wrestling fans who don't know who he is. So I think that may have been another reason why Nashville could have been dead. So the next point is people going, they're turning Punk heel. And the CM Punk thing is, we're getting old shyster Punk again, which I hope so. He mentioned the wise man, which is Paul Heyman. He dropped a line last night, said, I'm here to make friends. I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money, which is also a kick at the Young Bucks. But there's a reason why he really didn't say it on the mic, because a lot of people are going to go, well, what the fuck does that mean? Where the hell have you been? You know, stuff like that. So, the stuff about, I'm home and all that, and a lot of, I watched John Pollock and the post-wrestling crew, and then I watched the Solomon thing, and I watched all these YouTubers talking about why is he in there after bashing that company for so long? Why is he in there going, I'm home? When all he talked about how much he hated that place. Not everybody who watches WWE has heard that podcast. Not everybody who watches WWE goes on YouTube and follows him around. They don't know why he left. WWE has never told us why he left. WWE, the day after that Rumble, acted as if he never freaking existed. Ever. They've dropped subtleties every now and then for us hardcore fans, us diehard fans, us smarks, but they've never said, CM Punk came to Cleveland after the Rumble in 2014 and walked out. They've never came out and said that. Never. So, they don't know why he left. They don't know what they're talking about when they call him a hypocrite. Because not everybody is up on this stuff. Not everybody, they're casual fans. And yes, WWE has casual fans. AEW does not. AEW's fans, all of them are just like me, who go here on YouTube and go on, who follow the dirt sheets. As stupid as the dirt sheets could be, they're smarks. There are no casual AEW fans. And the little kids that you see in the audience are probably just like mine, who ask me about stuff and are going on YouTube and talking about stuff. And the YouTubers, the YouTubers are getting it from Meltzer and everybody, and all the news sites like Fightful and everything. Even sites like What Culture, who they showed in that highlight video and Wrestle Talk. They don't have any real sources in WWE. They're not breaking news like what a Mike Johnson does. And I'm not trying to jump on Mike Johnson, so to speak, but the guy does good work and he does check his sources. And 9 times out of 10, if something doesn't happen or if he gets something wrong, he apologizes for it. He doesn't go, plans changed. So there you go. But again, I guarantee you about maybe 70% of that audience do not know why Punk left. They do not even know, that who he was. They don't know that AEW exists. They don't, and if they do, they just don't watch it because it's not for everybody. So we got to kind of see where this is going. Do I think we're going to see a Punk heel turn? Yes, eventually. Do I think maybe, the first thing that popped into my mind last night was, okay, he's gonna get a faction going, and could this lead to him maybe, think of all the matches that we could see, Punk versus Balor, Punk versus AJ Styles, hell, I would even like to see Punk versus Dominic Mysterio at this point. We have all this stuff, and AJ is still on the shelf. AJ Styles, and they've kept the OC, Gallows and Anderson, off TV. So could we see Punk join up with them and do like a heel faction? The Judgment Day is getting ready to dissolve, despite what they said on TV last night. I firmly believe that faction is not going to make it. Maybe they're not going to make it till SummerSlam of next year. Between now and SummerSlam of next year, Judgment Day is going to be dissolved. I still don't believe that Damian Priest is going to have a successful cash-in, or they may do something to get that briefcase off him. He's not world champion material. He's a good wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Even in ROH's Punishment Martinez, I love the guy. He's just not there yet. He's not reached. He's here, but he needs to get up here. But yeah, Punk's return last night. The promo was meh. A lot of people are, first dance promo. Only 1 million people watched that. 1.5 million, I think it was. Maybe 1.5 million. I don't remember the exact number. I know it cracked 1 million. And then after that, ratings declined. Even with Punk, I'll say it. I mean, I'm a huge Punk fan, but Punk is not perfect. And Punk is back in WWE. A lot of it, 50% of that was him. Two wrong, it takes two to tango there. So we'll see what happens. I don't know as of me recording this. I haven't looked to see if they've announced Punk for SmackDown. They're in the Barclays Center in New York this Friday. If they're smart, Punk will be there, because Roman probably won't be there. But if they're smart, Punk will be there. He'll have some interaction with Heyman. I would love to see that, but who knows? The only thing they really advertised for SmackDown is the Judgment Day fall, or the Damage Control Survivor Series Fallout, which, let's be honest, nobody really cares about it. But anyway, that's another video. But anyway, folks, I'm getting off here. If you see a big rig on the road, give us plenty of room. Don't tailgate us. Let us over if we need to get over. Go the speed limit. If you can't see our mirrors, we can't see you. We'll see you down the road.